The stock market returned 10% last year. Real estate in most cities returned 8%. This Rolex Daytona bought in 2005 for $4,000 is worth $42,000 today. That's 950% in 20 years. The right watch doesn't just tell time. It makes money while sitting in a drawer. But here's the problem. 99% of watches lose value the moment you buy them, just like a car driving off the lot. The 1% that gain value, they share very specific characteristics. And once you know what to look for, you'll never look at a watch the same way again. Today we're counting down 5 watches you can buy right now for under $10,000. That serious collectors believe will be worth significantly more by 2035. We're going from number 5 to number 1. Stay until the end, because number 1 might genuinely surprise you. Number 5. Tudor Black Bay. Current price, around $3,500 to $4,500 new. Tudor is owned by Rolex. Same factory, same standards, same obsession with quality, but half the price. Here's why this matters for investment. In the 1960s and 70s, Tudor made dive watches for the U.S. Navy and the French Marine Nationale. Military-issued Tudor watches from that era now sell for $20,000 to $80,000 at auction. The Black Bay is a direct modern reissue of those exact watches. Same case shape, same gilt dial aesthetic, same DNA. As Rolex prices continue to climb out of reach for most buyers, Tudor becomes the entry point into the Rolex ecosystem. Demand is rising every year. The Black Bay 58 in particular, the smaller 39mm version, has already appreciated 40% since its release in 2018. By 2035, as the Rolex brand continues to grow globally, Tudor's connection to that legacy will push values higher. Analysts who track the secondary watch market are already calling it undervalued. Entry price, $3,500. Potential by 2035, $8,000 to $12,000. That's number 5. Let's move up. Number 4, Omega Speedmaster Professional. The Moonwatch. Current price, around $6,000 to $7,000 new. You already know the story. NASA, Apollo 11, the Moon, the only watch ever certified for manned spaceflight. But here's the investment angle most people miss. Omega has sold the Speedmaster in essentially the same form since 1969. Same caliber, same case, same crystal. That's intentional, and it's genius. Every generation discovers the Moonwatch for the first time. Millennials discovered it. Gen Z is discovering it now. Each new generation creates a new wave of demand. The vintage market tells the whole story. A Speedmaster from 1969, the actual moon year, sells for $15,000 to $30,000 today. A Speedmaster from 1957, the very first year, sold at Philippe's auction in 2021 for $187,500. The current production model at $6,000 is the future vintage at $25,000. It just needs time. One specific version to look for: the Speedmaster with the original Hesalite crystal. Not the sapphire version. That's the authentic Moonwatch. Collectors already pay a significant premium for it. Entry price, $6,000. Potential by 2035, $18,000 to $25,000. That's number 4. 3 more to go, and it gets more interesting from here. Number 3, Rolex Explorer. 1. Reference 124270. Current retail price, $6,950. Current market price, $8,500 to $10,000. Wait, it already costs more than retail? Yes, and that's exactly the point. The Rolex Explorer is the most underrated watch in the entire Rolex catalog. No date, no complications, no flashy bezel, just a clean black dial and three numbers, 3, 6, 9. Edmund Hillary wore a Rolex on Everest in 1953. The Explorer was born from that achievement. Pure Rolex DNA with no distractions. Here's why it's a sleeper investment. Right now, everyone wants the Submariner and the Daytona. Those have 2 to 5 year waiting lists and massive premiums. The Explorer is almost available, relatively speaking, but taste in watches moves in cycles. The minimalist aesthetic is growing globally. Japan, Korea, Scandinavia, markets that are exploding in watch collecting, all favor clean, simple dials. The Explorer is perfectly positioned for that shift. When the Submariner Premium cools, and it will, the Explorer Premium will rise to take its place. Reference 124270 specifically. Buy it before that happens. Entry price, $8,500 on the secondary market. Potential by 2035, $20,000 to $30,000. That's number 3. Now we're getting into serious territory. Number 2, Lange and Söhne Saxonia. Current price, $9,500 to $10,000. Right at the edge of our budget, worth every penny. Most people outside the watch world have never heard of Lange and Söhne. That's exactly why it's on this list. Lange is the greatest watchmaker you've never heard of. Founded in 1845 in Glashütte, Germany. Nationalized by the Soviet Union after World War II. Disappeared for 45 years. Relaunched in 1994 with movements so beautiful that the entire Swiss watch industry went into shock. Here's what makes Lange different from everything else. Every single movement is assembled twice. Built once, tested, then completely disassembled, cleaned, and rebuilt again. Just to make sure every component is perfect. No other watchmaker does this. The Saxonia is their entry point. Clean white dial, small seconds, pure German minimalism. The movement visible through the caseback is considered one of the most beautiful in watchmaking. Lange produces approximately 5,000 watches per year total, all references combined, for the entire world. As Asian markets, particularly China and South Korea, discover Lange over the next decade, demand will dramatically exceed supply. Vintage Lange references from the 1990s relaunch have already tripled in value. The Saxonia today is the vintage Saxonia of 2035. Entry price, $9,500. Potential by 2035, $25,000 to $40,000. That's number 2. And now, the one you've been waiting for. Number 1. Patek Philippe Calatrava. Reference 5196. Current price approximately $22,000 new. Wait, that's over our $10,000 budget. Yes, and I'm putting it at number 1 anyway. Because this list would be dishonest without it, and because the pre-owned market puts it within reach at $14,000 to $18,000. Patek Philippe has the most famous line in watchmaking. You never actually own a Patek Philippe. You merely look after it for the next generation. That's not just marketing. It's a fact backed by data. The Patek Philippe Calatrava reference 96 from the 1930s, the watch the 5196 is directly descended from, sells for $40,000 to $150,000 at auction today. A watch that cost $200 when new. The 5196 uses the same design language, same proportions, same Calatrava cross on the crown, manually wound movement, which collectors prize over automatic movements for dress watches. Patek produces the 5196 in tiny numbers. When it's discontinued, and every reference eventually is, values will move immediately and significantly. Of every watch on this list, the Calatrava has the longest and most proven track record of value appreciation. It is the closest thing to a guaranteed investment that exists in the watch world. Entry price, $14,000 to $18,000 pre-owned. Potential by 2035, $40,000 to $80,000. That's your number one. So there are your 5 watches. Number 5, Tudor Black Bay, $3,500. Number 4, Omega Speedmaster, $6,000. Number 3, Rolex Explorer, $8,500. Number 2, a Lange and Söhne Saxonia, $9,500. Number 1, Patek Philippe Calatrava, $14,000 pre-owned. Subscribe for more. Next week, the 5 watches that looked like great investments and lost 50% of their value instead. What went wrong and what you can learn from it. You don't want to miss that one.